Well, welcome everyone to the EKN Online Studio, a new edition of our Face2Face show here, of course, on YouTube and on our Facebook channel as well. My name is Rob Howden, joined by David Cole right beside me over here. And again, it is Tuesday, August the 23rd, kind of in the middle of our, I guess, call it summer break, I guess, when it comes to major national and regional events. David, we kind of have a chance to take a breather here. Things will get going big time again on Labor Day weekend, but for now, couple of weeks, get caught up on the paperwork a little bit.
Yeah, it's almost like we're staying in line with the factories because they take their August break right now, and they're starting to get going. F1's taking their break as well too. It's kind of that weird position. We've never really had this before. Yeah. We're normally at summer nationals during the month of August. Other events and regional programs are going on strong, but a little bit of a tamer August month this year. But it's starting to rev up because I know I'm going to be gone to nearly 4 events in 6 weeks span. So it's going to get busy once again.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of I think it's 6 and 8. I think for me, 6 race weekends over 8. I was at Worldwide Technology Raceway on the weekend at the Road Indy event, of course, calling Indy Pro 2000. And David, what a great IndyCar race that was! Some karting kid we know named David Malukas going around the outside. Scotty McLaughlin for second on the final lap. What a wild one that was, man. All the karters at the trackside were pretty happy about that.
Yeah, still not the best finish by Malukas between him and Lemke way back in the day in karting days. That was probably his best finish again. Or I can't remember who actually won. Maybe it was Lemke who actually won that. So maybe it was better for Lemke that time. But a lot of karters in there. I saw a post. Newgarden started on a Margay. Malukas, I think, was a Burrell when he first started down there at MRP. Yeah. Brent Ebert was one of his coaches, early on coaches.
Saw that. Awesome.
Battle Award, another racer, Graham Rahal, all in the top 10 there. So a lot of former karters there racing for a victory on an oval.
Yeah, indeed. And again, so there's a lot of great racing coming in. One of the big reasons why we've jumped into this particular podcast, this particular show, we've got a really good friend of ours, a guy when it comes to North American karting, really should need no introduction. He's been part of Team USA many times, multi-time champion, race winner year after year after year, Scoop Supercarts USA Hall of Famer as well. Alan Rudolph from the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy and Speed Sports Racing Park in New Caney, Texas, just north of Houston, joining us. We're going to talk a little bit about a new race they've got coming up, the Lone Star Grand Prix. We're going to talk about the team itself, the track itself at Speed Sports, and of course, what's coming up in 2023 as well. So let's bring Alan in. He's hanging out there, I think, at the track in New Caney. Alan, thank you so much for joining us, bud.
Hey, Rob, Dave, thanks for having me as always. Appreciate you guys.
How are things down in Texas?
Hot and swampy.
I love it. Quite the difference from when you lived in Arizona, right?
It is. It's absolutely polar opposite. Yeah. And someday we'll get back to the desert. I like the dry heat over this humidity, but keeps my skin nice and moist.
You look good. You look good. So the primary reason we brought you, there's a lot of stuff going on with you guys at the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy. A lot of stuff happening, of course, at Speed Sports Racing Park. And that's going to happen actually in a week and a half's time, right? Let's just get rolling right into a race you guys have lined up for Labor Day weekend, the Lone Star Grand Prix. Kind of putting your own big race on. We'll talk about the Texas Sprint Race Series coming to your track later on in September as well. They were already there earlier in the year. It's become a core track for Texas regional karting. But let's talk about the Lone Star Grand Prix. Where did that idea come from? And let's, I know we got a list of great stuff to talk about with the race.
Yeah. Look, I always wanted to have a couple of kind of big races, one-off races each year. One being in December, we do that, the Reindeer Run. It's a LO206 4-hour endurance race, and that's become kind of a staple in our area now. We pack the house on that one every year, and it's a lot of fun. I actually get to do that with Aiden now. Aiden and I race together for that race.
Yeah.
And so this one, the Lone Star Grand Prix, it's a big money race, right? So get a couple sponsors put together. Ferguson Truck Center in particular. Taika Axles is on board, working on another sponsor for that. And wanted to create something super unique and different that it's just not a normal race. So the format is completely different than anything else. The Triple Crown thing, I got the idea from watching a Supercross race. I love Supercross and the way they do it. And a couple races a year, they tote it as their Triple Crown, which is basically 3 main events instead of qualifying and heat race and a main and one winner. There's still one winner, but all 3 races are essentially a main event where you accumulate points and ultimately there's one winner. So put that together, and I think it's going to be pretty exciting and unique.
You mentioned Ferguson Truck Center. Let's talk about the cash. How much cash is actually up for grabs here?
$30,000, sir.
It's big money. Dude.
Yeah.
And what, $5,000 to win in KA 100 senior?
Yep, $5,000 to win KA senior, $3,000 to win. So everything's the IAMI platform from micro on up to KAs. No X30s because there's really no X30s in this region.
Yeah.
And then we added the LO206. LO206 program is, really across the country is kind of the staple and of that entry level platform to get in, and it's strong in this region. And so $3,000 to win an LO206 race is pretty big too.
Yeah. So this is Labor Day weekend, right? The 2nd and 3rd of September, correct?
It is. It's night race, so it'll be under the lights. Pretty cool.
Okay, so give us the weekend kind of schedule before we go to David. I know he's got a question. What's the weekend schedule?
So we're gonna start Thursday night on practice. Oh, and the other thing is we're doing with 3 main events. There's going to be 2 different track layouts, and
that was going to be my question.
Okay.
So ultimately 3 different races on 3 different tracks, 2 of them being the same. So a practice days on Thursday night, we'll do practice. We're going to set up the short course first and run 3 rounds of practice on the short course. And then we'll switch it over at dinner break. We'll switch it over to the normal track that you all know is regular long track. And then Friday night, we'll run a couple rounds of practice and we'll go into qualifying on the big track. And then the first main event will be on the big track. And then that'll be Friday and that'll be done. And then Saturday, we'll switch it back up where the next main event will be on the short course again. And then at the dinner break that night, when we're going to do the tire challenge, I'll tell you about that in a minute. And then we'll switch it back and we'll run the full course for the final 3rd main event. So 2 different tracks, but 3 different main events. It's going to be pretty cool.
So winner take all points, right?
Winner, yeah. And so you qualify, that sets for the first main, and then each main after that is progressive. So if you have if you have a bad qualifying and you can race your way up, then in the next main you're going to start where you finished the one before that. So it's always progressive, but at the end of the 3 mains, the person with the most points wins.
Nice.
It's going to be a lot of work for the mechanics then on the weekend.
A little bit, yeah.
I was going to say, gears.
Kind of give us a head. I was just saying, is there a lot of gear changing between the short course and the long course?
There is.
Okay.
Well, I can't give away how many teeth.
I didn't say how many teeth.
Yeah.
I didn't say.
No, it is a big difference.
Okay.
Our regular track layout, the lap time, let's just use KA as an example. A KA lap time might be somewhere around a 55-second lap. And on the short course, it's 45. So it's like 10 seconds difference. So it is a big gear change, big swing in the gear change.
All right. Yeah, we're going to make them work. I like that. That's cool. So you mentioned that the mechanic tire mounting challenge is something we've seen in a lot of races over the past number of years, the tire changing challenge. Any different approach to you, or is it just a straight up deal, dropping some cash for whoever can get it done fastest?
Straight up deal, whoever can get it done the fastest. I'm going to require everyone whoever's going to do it's going to need to come with a new set of tires. You can't have an old burned out set of tires because those go on and off too easy, right? So it'll be a new set of tires still in the wrapping. And before we start, I'll let people unwrap them if they want or whatever. But mount them, dismount them. Winner takes all. $500. See who can do it. There's not too many guys that can do it by hand anymore these days, so it ought to be interesting.
So what's the interest been like? This seems like it'd be a really cool deal. Obviously, from your region, from your area, there's a number of tracks within the Houston area. I got to think a lot of guys are going to be coming out to this one.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm bad about it too. We wait till the last minute to sign up. So pre-registration hasn't been all that great, but everyone's talking about coming. Everyone's texting me and emailing me, asking for pit spaces and all that kind of stuff. So I expect it to be a really nice crowd. And the reality is I don't care necessarily about drawing people in from out of town. It would be cool. I know for sure Austin Garrison's coming. He's going to be the KA guy that's trying to take down us Texans, but it's not about that. Here in Texas, we have such a strong base of kids here at every national level. You see in every category from micro to senior, there's Texan guys right up front. And so we have some really strong Texans. And that's really what I care about right now.
Well, okay, Dave, go.
I was just saying one more thing about the format. I think you mentioned hot pits for qualifying. Is everything on the weekend one set of tires, or how is that rule set?
Oh, really?
Yeah, just one set of tires. It's qualifying and three main events, so it can be done on one set of tires with the blues. If we had the X30 stuff going on and a softer tire, I could see 2 sets. But for the blues, the harder compound Evenco is no problem making those. And then there's some tire strategy that comes into that, making sure that your tires last to the end. But the hot pit thing is just, we used to do that in the Pro Tour days, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
I mean, it
awesome.
had some excited, and Rob, you were announcing it, and it was like, what are we doing? And making changes of some sort, and
sometimes 2 separate carts. That was the fun part.
Yeah, that was
never,
track magic.
I don't think I ever had 2 carts I was jumping in and out.
I know Ron White did. I remember
right.
watching him at Supernats one year.
That's cool. So it just adds a little excitement to it, A couple years ago, I did that with the senior category, and Aiden was still racing junior, and he's like, "Why didn't we get to do it?" So anyway, now
Dad!
Dad, come on. So anyway, now I do think that the junior kids it'll be fun to watch the juniors do it, and it's just going to be something neat and exciting.
Hey, I got another question. It's a tough racetrack. It's a challenging racetrack. What are we doing for laps? Because if you do one set of tires, are we going long?
To be fair, they're going to go long. Each main is going to progress.
Yeah.
So I don't have the exact numbers on top of my head right now, but each main is going to progress, and the last one will be the longest one.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I like that. Excellent. Well, and here's the thing too. So we talked about the area coming, the region just around you coming in. You got to think almost all of Texas could potentially want to come, because the race is only a couple of weeks ahead of the finale for the Texas Sprint Racing Series. They moved their finale to be at Speed Sports. So this Lone Star Grand Prix, is kind of a tune-up as well for the finale to see who's going to be the champions in the TSRS this year.
Yeah, it is. TSRS has been strong this year. They've had big numbers, and I'm glad that Brittany decided to move it to our track. I mean, selfishly, it's great for Speed Sports, but I think the venue, everyone was reluctant on going to that other venue, and they're really excited about coming to Speed Sports. And so it was welcomed with open arms when she announced it at Amarillo. And so I think it's going to help her in the event, and a really nice cap to her season to have the finale at our track. So you're right. It'll be a great tune-up for those who are running the last race.
We pause our face-to-face broadcast for this quick commercial break. Stay tuned for more here on the EKN Radio Network. The new face of competitive karting in the Pacific Northwest region is RaceLab. The full-service karting operation is located at the state-of-the-art Kartplex facility in Oliver, British Columbia, Canada, providing everything you need to hit the track or put yourself in a successful driver development program. RaceLab is the official North American distributor for the TB Kart chassis brand, providing the full range of models from kid kart to shifter kart. Villeneuve Racing Karts is their flagship product, available only through RaceLab. The brand carries the name of Formula One champion and Indianapolis 500 winner Jacques Villeneuve, with each model produced by TB Kart. Kartplex, the home of RaceLab, is situated on the grounds of the Area 27 Motorsports Park. From full arrive and drive TB Kart rentals to leagues and competition karting, the facility provides a new home to developing the future stars of motorsports, all beginning at Kartplex with RaceLab. Follow RaceLab on social media on Facebook and Instagram, or load up their website at www.theracelab.ca to learn more about TB Kart and Villeneuve Racing Karts. RaceLab. Race with us, win with us.
Located in Mooresville, North Carolina, on-site at GoPro Motorplex, Kartsport North America features over 6,000 square feet of retail space. Along with being the official race team and distributor for the Kart Republic chassis, they offer full retail sales, kart service and storage, and products from the top brands in the sport, such as CZ Chain, Talon Sprockets, SKF bearings, and Prisma tire gauges. If you want to take your racing to the next level, they also offer driver training and coaching programs available trackside at GoPro Motorplex. They have a massive inventory, so head to their online store at kartsportna.com to get same-day shipping of the parts and components that you need. While you're there, check out their used section of karts, engines, parts, and accessories. Kartsport North America. Top quality products, winning brands, and professional driver development services.
Welcome back to Face2Face on the EKN Radio Network. Yeah, all you can never really hope for in a region, right, is strong club racing and a really great regional program to bring everybody in. Having a national in the region, obviously, something that's pretty big as well. And I know, Alan, the minute you guys started laying pen to paper on how you wanted this track to design, the track layout itself, the facility layout, the concept was we need to get a national race. You guys have been scrapping, you've been fighting to try to get a national race over the last number of years. Really cool news coming out of the guys at USPKS, the United States Pro Kart Series. Next April, they are traveling to Speed Sports Racing Park. Tell us a little bit about how that came together and how excited you are to have essentially the top drivers on the East Coast coming to Speed Sports next spring.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's the last piece of the puzzle, right? I mean, we've done everything, to build this place and try to get a big race like that. And I'm excited and nervous at the same time. It's a lot of people to cram in this place.
Yeah.
Mark Coates and I have known each other since I was a kid, so longer than you guys have probably been alive. And
whoa there, bro. We're probably the same age, you and I.
No, we're not. Not even close.
What are you talking about? We're pretty close.
It's now remember the age is not official. We don't know the age.
Oh, that's very true. That's very true. He could be 78. We wouldn't know it. You couldn't tell by the hair. It's perfect, as Andy Saisman has said.
Yeah, that's funny.
Go.
So Mark and I have known each other for a long time, and 2 years ago we talked about him coming here, and just the scheduling didn't work out. They do have some concerns about parking and pit space and stuff like that, and the concerns are legit, but the reality is that we have an RV park next door. So anybody, then we're going to put a gate between. So anybody that's in an RV that's not actually pitting out of the thing, which no one does, they're going to stay at the RV park right next door, and they can literally walk or drive their golf cart back and forth. Now with the addition of the hotel that's just right down the street. When I say down the street, literally walking distance.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
Anyone who stays at the hotel can ride their scooters over or walk. The hotel offers a shuttle. They have a shuttle van that'll bring people back and forth all day. The pit space isn't the problem. It's all the other cars and parking of people, right? And so by having the hotel there, and people can stay and leave their cars at the hotel, and then the RV park, where people can park at the RV park, it won't be a problem. There's plenty of space for the actual pit spots. No problem.
Nice.
Do you think the Orlando weekend kind of helped?
I do, because
not only you, but maybe more so USPKS to be like, hey, look, we can do this. If we've done it at Orlando, we can probably go there too.
Yeah, and the reality is, I after Orlando, I did the same thing. I did this exercise. I got on Google Earth and Google Earth Orlando's paddock where we were at, and mine's almost shaped exactly the same as Orlando, but mine's bigger. I got more space than Orlando does, and it's shaped kind of the same. So that right there was like kind of I think what really opened Mark's eyes and was like, okay, well, if we can put it here, we can go there. And I think it'll be fine. It's going to be great, actually.
Yeah, to be able to have you guys on that USPKS schedule, I think is big. Obviously the track, David, you have not even been there yet, have you?
I have not. I'm looking forward to going down there.
Yeah, I've been there several times already. I love that place. Fantastic track. And there's just so much stuff. If you're not even at that hotel right there at the track, which obviously is new since last time I was there, I've seen all the design for it. All the hotels are literally 5 minutes down the road.
Yeah. Well, in the airport, you fly into George Bush, it's 15 minutes away.
Yeah. All the restaurants, hotels, everything on the run up to the track. It's an ideal location. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy. Those who don't know, you run a full school down there for people brand new to the sport, can come in for a one-day experience. If you're more of a top-level guy and you're looking for some real one-on-one coaching at a track where you can hammer down, you guys do 1 and 2 day advanced courses as well. One of the spin-offs, obviously, is the fact that through the track and the pro shop at the track and the school is you've kind of developed a bit of a team. You have the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy Speed Sports Racing team. How's that gone this year? I know you guys, we're seeing your drivers finish up front regionally and even nationally.
Yeah, no, it's been good. To be fair, it was never a piece of the puzzle for the business. Tim Crawford, my partner, and I, from the very beginning, we're like, we're not doing a race team that doesn't make money. It doesn't make sense. And I see a lot of teams that struggle at this a little bit, but it became very apparent early on that if we didn't do it, then someone else was going to, and it just became a piece of the business. And it's been really good. To be honest, it's an extension of my school. I help coach these kids and teach them. And when I say kids, there's kids and adults on my team. I have several adults that run from senior to masters, even a couple of masters guys. And so that's become a nice little addition. In our regional series, we have last one we had 15. I had 15 drivers on our team. So my trailer's gone from a 24 footer to a 48 footer. And it's a lot of work, man. I'll tell you that. It's a lot of work between our club races. Then you have the regional stuff, TSRS, and then we go national racing. It's a lot. It's a lot going on.
I spent some time when I was writing the article about Ken Engelking and the fact you guys have the 2 racetracks there. For people that don't know, a Speed Sports Racing Park doesn't only have just the racetrack. It's also a dual purpose facility because it already has a full dedicated rental car track as well right beside it. There's literally a walkway between the 2 tracks. They're all on the same property. And one of the things I wrote about in the article was it's really cool, Alan. Obviously, we're trying to bring new people into the sport. The rental kart side's awesome. People can come out and drive rental karts. A fantastic track. I see it when I'm announcing. It's literally outside the announcing tower as well. How's that going? And how has the transition been from karters potentially trying the rental karts and eventually finding their way over into the actual club series?
Yeah, there's been a lot of people pass through that. We put, I don't know how many, 10,000 rental kart customers through a month, whatever the number is. It's a big number. And you would think that even if I got 1% of those, right, that's a big number. And while there's been a lot, it hasn't been the volume you would think. Karting is like, I've always said karting is kind of one of those things that's a little bit hard to get into. People, if you don't know about it, where do you go to do it? And so having the rental kart track and the racetrack kind of there sort of bridges that gap. But you got to really be like a grandpa came to me this weekend. We're having a club race. Grandpa came. He goes, my kid is like, all he talks about is go-kart racing. I get him into go-kart racing. And the kid's 7 years old, right? But he's talking about racing. Well, if he's talking about racing and wanting to do it, well, then you got to figure out, you got to navigate those waters and decide what you want to do. But it's different than a stick and ball sport, right? And you can't do it in your neighborhood or at school. You got to go find it. And so karting has always been kind of hard to get into and hard for people to understand. And so by having both tracks there, we get the crossover for sure. There's been a handful of kids that have started in the rental karts, come to us. Joshua Alinal now has moved on from us into he's running the Skip Barber.
Yeah,
doing a really good job there. And so it almost becomes then full circle, right? Where he was a rental kart customer, then became part of our race team, and now he's off doing F4 stuff. Yeah. That's pretty cool. And then, of course, you mentioned Ken Ingleton. That guy, 80 years old, 80 years old was amazing. And ironically enough, I got a call from Lake Speed yesterday about something else, and Lake and I were catching up, and he mentioned himself being 74 years old and still driving all the time out of GoPro or whatnot. And then I had to tell him the Ken story. And he's like, man, I hope I can do that when I'm 80 years old. I'm like, obviously he's going to, because he's still time, but it was pretty neat, and to see Ken out there driving that 206 car, it was pretty awesome. And he did a great job, stayed out of trouble. All he wanted to do was just kind of be there and ride around with people. And his pace was pretty dang good. I think he was second and a half off maybe, but that's, for an 80-year-old guy, that's pretty awesome. Yeah,
that's amazing. That's fantastic. Let's look forward to Super Nationals a little bit. I mentioned off air before we started whether or not the Speed Sports Alan Rudolph Racing Academy team was going to have a squad there. You said you weren't quite sure if you were going to be able to put together the amount of guys you would need to make it work for you guys financially to get out to that event. But I know you'll be there for sure. Is Aiden planning on running that one or what?
Oh yeah, Aiden will be there, and he's done a great job working at the track now. He's kind of stepped up his game a little bit, working on his own kart and doing that, and then teaching classes with me, helping me with classes. And I even threw him to the wolves a few weeks ago and let him do a full day class like by himself. And he did a great job with that. And so just, again, an extension of our school and the track and all of that. And so, yeah, no, he'll be racing the Supernats with PSL and Burrell for sure. And if I can get enough guys to come, we'll go as a team. But, the reality is the majority of my customers, we do this regional club racing regional thing, and there's only a few that do the national stuff. And the Supernats is a big stretch financially for everyone, really. And so I'm not sure as a team we'll go, but for sure Aiden and I will be there. So
you and I talked about this a bit on text that I'm running the Supernats this year. And I said, hey, what do you think about me coming down to do a couple of days? Should we make that happen?
Oh, we're gonna make it happen. I don't know if you can last a couple of days. It might be one day.
Come on.
We might have to do a day, and then you'll have to take a little break.
Yeah.
And then we'll do another
Have to
day.
stay for 3 days. We'll go for dinner. For 3 days, come back. No, we'll do it maybe like right a couple weeks before. Now, here's my. I say this right now because obviously you are one of the preeminent coaches in the sport right now. For anybody new going to the Super Nationals who's never been there before, how about some tips? Throw some tips out for me that can transition to other people. I've never been there before. What do I do? Like, how do I approach the first day? I know you and I talked about this at one point, trackside, in kind of a preview. How do you approach the first day? How do I approach a Wednesday on track, Wednesday morning?
Yeah, man, the Super Nats is such a beast because of the time frame. I mean, it's a big, long, week-long thing that builds. I mean, like you said, it starts on Wednesday, and you got to make it till Sunday, Sunday, right? That's what it's all about. And so it's a temporary circuit, barriers all around. Give yourself some extra room. Don't try to push too hard. You don't know how many times the first session out, there's somebody in the barriers. Well, that is just dumb. Yeah. And so, step back, take it all in. Don't try to push so hard in the first session. You take yourself out right away and you're crashing stuff. And always give yourself a little bit of extra room on the exits of the corners, so you don't taco to axle or whatever.
I think that's going to be pretty easy for me to do. I'm not going to get anywhere near the walls, especially on Wednesday. Hey, when you look back at your Super Nats time, Alan, you were there from the very beginning. Are there any particular races for the Super Nats that kind of stand out for you?
Oh, man. I don't know. There was the one at Sam Boyd. I've been on the podium a couple times, never won that damn thing, and it always pissed me off.
I bet.
Think about the guys who win there. It's the who's who of what, and to win once is a big thing. To win twice or what's his name? Won 3 times.
Formal. Billy Musgrave won 4 times.
Yeah, how's Danny win 3 or 4 times? I mean, that's just crazy, right? I never won that thing. That's 15 times, 15 years I went to that thing and never won. I think the one at Sam Boyd Stadium where I designed the track, that was pretty cool to me too. I talked to Tom about helping design the one this year.
Yeah.
But, I think they're pretty locked into what they have space-wise.
So much you can do there.
So not much I can do there. I just, last year's track, I mean, those guys in the 12th hour had to come up with something, and that really tight chicane thing, I don't think anyone really liked. And so I offered to help out this year, but the reality is they kind of got that thing nailed down and there's no need for me to help there. But it was cool it's a Sam Boyd one to be able to put my name on that one. And I think it was the best one ever. But
that was a great track. Those
Sam
Boyd tracks were pretty badass.
Was that 2004?
Oh God.
The first one?
I don't remember the year. No, it wasn't the first one.
Okay.
I don't think
I'm trying to remember back to what, because we were there 04 to 07. So there was multiple years that we were there. So was it with Tom or was it with Joe? Who did you design it with?
I think it was Tom, because Tom and I went out there. Yeah, Tom and I went out there together and scoped the place out and worked on a program. And I think that it was the same year that we had the option to run Moto or the KZ.
Okay.
Remember they ran the 2 together.
The Bulls, I think Bulls won that year, didn't he? After Shugo blew up?
Bulls.
Mine blew up.
Mandarino won the first one, no?
No, Bulls, Mandarino.
Oh, all right.
Well, anyway,
Carlton,
Ardigo.
Yeah, I think Matt Jaskell and I were the only 2 that showed up on the Moto packages because Paul Leary told us we should be on the Moto because it was going to kick the shit out of it.
At least you weren't on your Yamaha.
Yeah, I know, right? But the thing was
Tour days on the Yamaha,
right? The Moto was, it made big horse or big torque, and by ourselves it was fast. Like I qualified 5th, I think. Yeah. But as soon as it went to race time, it is not racing. We couldn't race with the KZs. So my motor blew up and I had to put on a KZ the rest of the races.
So here's the thing. Of all the years you ran, you say we're on 15 years. Did you ever run as a master?
No.
No. You could have won one had you you moved to a master.
You're right.
You could have won 5 times.
He was still technically 29.
That's
right.
True. That's true. After waiting for that IndyCar call up.
Right. Still waiting. Roger hasn't called me yet.
Oh man, I'm sure you're just on the edge of his tongue to call. Trust me. Yeah. We pause our face-to-face broadcast for this quick commercial break. Stay tuned for more here on the EKN Radio Network. Is IndyCar your dream? If it is, for 2022 and beyond, the path from karting to IndyCar has gotten even clearer. It's time to look into the new USF Juniors program. As a stepping stone onto the road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires, Anderson Promotions will debut a new series next season that will provide the ultimate opportunity for driver development for karting's career-minded racers. The new USF Junior Series will feature a 6-event, 16-race schedule to train racers for the move into the Cooper Tires USF 2000 Championship. The champion will win a scholarship worth over $200,000, and the total prize fund will exceed $325,000. Next year, the series will utilize the current HPD-powered Ligier JS chassis, and a brand new car with a Halo-type device will be introduced in 2023. If IndyCar is your goal, USF Juniors is the starting line. For more information, visit usfjuniors.com and follow USF Juniors on social media. Make that jump from the club level and race against the best in the country at the Texas Sprint Racing Series. The premier regional kart racing series in Texas is a 5-race program that features 5 different tracks, all in the southern portion of the USA. The Texas Sprint Racing Series kicks off the season in the Big Easy on March 25th, 26th, and 27th, hosting round 1 at the NOLA Motorsports Park in New Orleans, Louisiana, as a warm-up for the SuperKarts USA Winter Nationals. The series returns to the Lone Star State on May 20 to 22, returning to the popular Speed Sports Racing Park in New Caney, Texas. One of the founding circuits in Texas, North Texas Kartway in Denton, is slated to host Round 3 on June the 24th to the 26th. Round 4 travels to the Texas Panhandle and the Amarillo Kart Circuit on August 5th, 6th, and 7th. The 5th and final round of the 2022 Texas Sprint Racing Series travels to the MSR Houston Karting Facility in Angleton, Texas on September 23rd to 25th. Details surrounding the rules and class structure for the official SuperKarts USA and International Kart Federation Series can be found at TexasSprintSeries.com. Welcome back to Face2Face on the EKN Radio Network. All right, so anything else to look forward to in 2023? You got ESPKS coming to the program. Obviously, the Lone Star Grand Prix will be back next year as well. Your track club series. Is this going really well as well? Do you just feel like there's a really good thing going on for Houston karting at Speed Sports right now?
Yeah, I mean, this year's all our club races have been, the beginning of the year in particular. I tried to work closely with the NTK track to work on schedules together where there wasn't as much conflict. So some of the guys from Dallas come down. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about Texas, it's so huge, but Dallas has their own, NTK has their own club, and we have our club. There's a club out in San Antonio and at Hill Country. And if those didn't exist, then we'd, it'd be gigantic, right? But they do exist. So I kind of want to work together with them a little bit to make sure there's not some overlap on our club races so that those guys can come down. So we've had a lot of people come down from Dallas and over from San Antonio. And the first like 4 rounds were huge club races for us. In the summertime, people go off on vacation and it's hot. And so the last couple of the club races haven't been that big, but still great turnouts, good racing. And this year I've mixed it up where we're doing different track layouts all the time. So it's not just the same track layout.
Nice.
We ran it backwards for the first time not too long ago.
How'd that go?
It was amazing. Well, so it's the short course like we're going to do for Lone Star, but backwards. I can't do the full track backwards because if you can imagine coming back across start finish line, the turn there,
ripping in there.
15. Yeah, the pit lane is right there, Yeah. So, but when we run the short course, we come onto the front straightaway much slower. So it worked out really nice. Everyone loved it. They all liked driving it backwards. So it was cool.
So if you're a Texas karter, obviously September will be a big month. The Lone Star Grand Prix kicking things off, a $30,000 purse, Ferguson Truck Center stepping up for that. That's Labor Day weekend, night race at Speed Sports. Then I guess it's 2.5 weeks later or 3 weeks later, Texas Sprint Racing Series coming in for their finale. It looks like it's going to be a busy month in September, Alan, at Speed Sports.
September is rocking and rolling for sure.
And then we'll try to get down there. I'll try to get down there in either October. If I can go like early November, before Super Nats, I'll be in
Right.
better shape. I'll go 2 full days. I better be able to go full 2
Yeah,
full days.
I know, right? You got to go 4 days in Vegas.
I look forward to. Well, no, I got to do 3. I have to do 4 mornings, not days. Let's be real. Mornings.
Okay.
Yeah, but then you got to add on all the announcing and sitting
true.
there and not being able to move. I mean, you're tired at the end of announcing.
Do you know how much effort, my blood and guts I put into that? My soul, every
I know,
session.
and that's why you had to bring Mike Smith on.
Yeah, no doubt. I almost died last year. Actually, last year was great. Mike Smith did a great job last year. He was fantastic. Well, Alan, listen, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for joining us here. Obviously,
guys.
wanted to give some little spotlight onto the Lone Star Grand Prix. And hey, congrats on the USPKS event. I think that's people. Again, when I was there when it was brand new and kept getting better, as you said, the hotel going up now, I think people are going to be absolutely blown away when they come to the track. It's such an awesome facility.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
All right, bud. David Cole, let's get rid of Alan Rudolph. Alan, thank you so much for joining us again, folks. One of the absolute ambassadors of the sport here in North American karting. He's been racing for 25, 30 plus years. I want it for 40 years. I don't know. Not sure exactly how many.
At least mid 80s, right?
At least mid 80s, because we saw the mullet and the mustache back then. Man.
I mean, I could have been mean and put the mullet up in this video, but I didn't.
Was that the SMC clutch ad, I think?
Yes,
I'm pretty sure it was the Axle clutch ad.
I think Tiffin Woolworth was one of the other drivers.
And Ron
along
Funkhauser,
with
I think, or something like that.
something like that.
Oh no, it'll come to me. It's the
But
guy.
there's also one of him and his brother in Daytona with tie-dye Daytona shirts on the beach. Oh yeah, it's perfect.
That'll date him pretty good. Anyways, folks, Speed Sports Racing Park. If you haven't been there, what a tremendous place. I'm going down there. Like I said, I wanted to tune myself up for my event, my run at the Super Nats this year. And I said, why don't I go down to Allen for a couple of days, really dial me in before I go there. So I'm really, really excited about that. Not only just for myself and what it'll help me do when I get to Vegas, but also just to be able to experience the program itself, the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy. They have a bunch of different programs to do there. The track, as I said, unbelievably technical. So I know Davey probably a little jealous on that because pretty badass. That'd be fun.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Yeah, you've done a lot of other different driving schools. I think you did Bondurant in the old days with Alan back in the day. So
no, I did Bondurant. Yeah.
So he kind of understands what he's getting into when he's welcoming you down there.
That's where I actually first met Alan's wife, Jessica. She was working in the office there, and that's where they met each other. Actually, was at the Bondurant Supercard School, done the Bridgestone Racing School, a bunch of different schools as well. Bring this last post up because this is we talked off air about this. It's supposedly not going to happen. Rudolph for KA Masters at Vegas. They're pushing him to do it, but it's in the morning. Aiden's racing in the morning in K100 Senior. It's going to be an easy out for Alan to say he can't do it because he's got to be with Aiden. But that would be cool to see Alan run KA Masters.
I'm sure if there was a mechanic that's willing to work with Aiden, I'm sure he could easily drive. But it's just
he's just never done never done the Masters thing, right?
Yeah, I think that's more of the issue than anything else.
There you go. Anyways, folks, great time to talk to him. The Lone Star Grand Prix Labor Day weekend, a night race. So you heard 3 different main events, a Triple Crown style deal. 5,000 to win in KA 100 Senior, $3,000 to win in LO 206, $30,000 total for the purse. A lot of great stuff happening there. An event that's going to obviously be kind of a cornerstone event for Speed Sports Racing Park and a great tune-up for that event. When is the race? September 22nd to 24th for the Texas Sprint Racing Series, their finale. Like, what do they call it?
Which will be under the lights as well, too, because that's a Thursday to Saturday event. So you're getting light, practice in with the Lone Star Grand Prix. So yeah, that's going to be it. I don't know the actual name.
Fall finale, I think.
Normally it's the fall finale,
something like that.
But I don't know if September's a fall month.
I don't know. It's fall. It's 100%. It's fall.
Okay.
All right, folks. Thanks for joining us again.
My calendar yet? Hold on.
We got lots of stuff coming up, David.
Guess what? The 22nd is the first day of fall. So there you go.
There you go. So we've got a This Week in Karting coming up on the podcast, of course. That'll be coming up soon. A couple more face-to-faces coming. We're going to be talking to Greg Jasperson really soon about the Cup Karts North America Grand Nationals, 6th edition, right, this year?
Yeah, Grand Nationals.
6th edition. So look for that first weekend of October as well. 206 Festival. It really is the biggest Briggs race in the country. Looking forward to that, of course, at Newcastle Motorsports Park. Dave and Al both be driving in that one, as will Nate Dean, our new assistant editor. He'll be racing there as well. Otherwise, let's cap off this edition. Thank you for Alan Rudolph for joining us. Make sure you get down to the Speed Sports Racing Park, either for the Lone Star Grand Prix, Texas Sprint Racing Series, or next year for the USPKS as they head there for round number 2 in April. Thank you so much for tuning into this edition of Face to Face. That is David Cole. I'm Rob Howden. Bye for now.